Hi everyone. Today I want to talk about having healthier Indian meals. Now we all love our traditional Indian food and it's got so much flavor to it. There's a lot of variety in the foods we can have. But the big problem is that a lot of our foods actually can be quite high in fat, they can be high in sugar, and they can also be high in salt, which means that if we continue to eat this way, over time, it will actually result in issues like type 2 diabetes or heart disease. But it doesn't need to be like this. What you've got to do first is always become aware of what you are having. That's the first step always. What are you eating at breakfast, at lunch, at dinner, or at snack time? Begin to reflect on what you're having, because once you know what you're having, you can then begin to think about what changes you can make to make these meals healthier. So, breakfast. The common mistake I often see people make at breakfast time is having things like chevra or biscuits or gatia for breakfast. And I know you feel like having some of these snacky foods at breakfast time. However, these are not breakfast foods and they're just really either high in carbs or in sugar or sometimes even in fat. And you're not going to feel satisfied for long enough and then you're going to have to keep snacking. Other breakfast foods are such as paratha or aloo puri that you end up having, or poha. Again, there's not a lot of protein in these foods, but you can actually just make it a little healthier by having yogurt along with your paratha and using less oil when making it. And again, with poha, add more vegetables in it and have some yogurt on the side. That'll make it a little bit healthier to have. At lunchtime, what happens is, and also at dinner times, what happens is we are not having enough vegetables. We end up having too much rice, too much roti or things like puri. You might maybe make yourself a toasted sandwich for lunch, which is quite common as well. Just, cheese in the sandwich and you put it in the toaster, or you've just made a cheese, cucumber and tomato sandwich. And you think it's quick, easy, and it's healthy. But it's not, because you are only then having mainly grains to fill yourself up. And I know a lot of the people I guide from the South Asian community are vegetarian. You don't need to stop your grains, but when you eat mainly grains, you're no longer really a vegetarian, you become more of a grainitarian. And what I'd like you to do is to include more vegetables in your diet. And at lunchtime, you could do a simple salad like kachumber, where you are having, tomato, cucumber, onions, coriander leaves, all cut up with some salt and pepper, lemon juice put into it. At dinner time, you could do a cooked vegetable curry, things like you could do bangan, you could do bhindi, you could do gobi, but make sure you always first start preparing or assembling your plate with vegetables first. Vegetables are really key, because often the mistake is you're just putting a lot of the grains on your plate first. So start always with vegetables, because that's one food group that I see many people missing from their diet. You've also got to make sure you are getting sufficient protein at lunch and dinner time, because if you don't get sufficient protein, you will end up just snacking constantly after lunch or after dinner because you're not feeling satisfied. So many traditional foods that we can have for protein. There are varieties of different types of dals that you can have, whether it's moong dal, masoor dal, you could have kali dal. So many different types of dals. You could have rajma, you can have chole. So make sure you are getting some protein, at least from your beans, lentils, the plant-based proteins. If you're having non-veg, you can have that, but just be mindful to also include some vegetarian protein. What happens at snack time? Snack time, that's when we just go all out and we have either our sweet snacks or our savory and crunchy and spicy snacks. And sometimes we need a little bit of both. So you might find you're having, your jalebi, your gulab jamun, your barfi, and that's really high in sugar, or you even end up having desserts, like kulfi, which are again really high in sugar and fat. And in terms of your snacks, for the savory snacks, you're having gatia, you could be having chakri, matti, sev, the charts that you might be having. They end up making you feel quite tired, quite lethargic, very bloated because of what's gone into making them. Now, you do not need to stop these traditional foods. All you've got to do is just be mindful of what you're putting into your plate. So you can have sev, you can have chaat, but don't make it just a full meal that you're having. Have it as part of your meal and make sure you're getting a balanced plate where you're always getting vegetables and protein and some whole grains as well. I'm going to be doing a live training, and this is a free webinar. I would love for you to come and join me. The link's going to be shared here, and you can come and learn what to do so you avoid these mistakes that we're commonly making when having South Asian foods. It's South Asian month, and this is a time, South Asian Heritage Month, and this is a time to actually celebrate our culture and our foods. But we've also got to be mindful because there is an increase in people being diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, blood pressure, cholesterol. So you do not want to end up being one of those statistics, right? So you just want to still enjoy your foods, but eat them mindfully, eat them with awareness, make them with just a few different swaps in ingredients, and you can lose weight, you can get healthier still. So I look forward to you joining me on the live session. And if you'd like to get, tips, inspiration, recipes, you can come and join me also on Instagram, and that link will be shared too. I'll see you very soon. Bye-bye.